Hey, man, you're looking healthy as a horse. I thought you got a new heart.
I did, and I also turned completely vegetarian, or plant-based, I should say.
I can't believe it. You look amazing. You feeling good?
I am. Thank you very much. How you doing, Smelly?
I'm doing awesome. I'm so excited to have you here on the show, and there's a lot of crap to talk about today, and I really appreciate you coming forward and being someone that's speaking out against some of the things that are going on. I just want to guess in general, just get your general take on racism. I know that you've experienced a lot of it throughout your life since you've been around for a long ass time, since you're older than dirt, as you say in your in your own words.
You got my age exact. Precisely how old I am. Older than dirt. I'll tell you how old I am, Smelly. I'm old enough to have come over to Los Angeles or Watts in the back of a bus. So that's how old I am.
Yeah, and so what are some of your what's kind of your general thought on just racism and just a very general kind of overview on like the way that you see it?
Well, as you know, I put out a lot of merchandise, and some of that merchandise has fuck hate on it. And I have whenever I make the post, I say something about fuck hate, people, a lot of comments say, oh man, that's ancient history and there's no more racism. And I get all kind of shit like that. No, why are you missing this? Racism is done. And I wish that were true, but obviously it is not. I think that on the current situation, do you want to talk about the current situation? Or?
Sure.
Okay, current situation. Absolutely. People are fucking fed up, and they're tired of the way the shit has been going. It's been going. I mean, George Floyd is most recent, but he is not a one-off. This has happened continuously for a long-ass period of time. And it's just that this one is the freshest and the most, I'd say, blatant, because he did this right in front of everybody and said, fuck it, he could see all the cell phones on him. He said, fuck it, I know you guys watching me, I know you can see this shit, and I don't give a fuck. And that, that is what I think pissed people off the most, incensed people the most. This motherfucker's total disregard for a human being. I mean, this motherfucker was he treated this human being less than fucking dirt. If he had done a dog like that, it would be so much outrage and protest. If he had done had put his knee on a dog and choked it to death, the whole fucking country would be going crazy. But since, Mark, but there's I got to give you more of my background. I said I came over here in the back of a bus. My mom, my brother, and myself, we came over here. So I have lived that long. That's the early 60s. We came over in 62. And back of the bus. But my mother raised me, Mark Smelly Bell. She raised me to love everybody. You want anybody, you see my Instagram, my posts, Twitter, they know that that's what I'm preaching all the motherfucking time. Love everybody, because that's the way I was raised. Love everybody. And I said, Mama, but what about the folks that hate me? What about the people that made us ride on the back of the motherfucking bus? What about them? And she said, son, especially them. Especially because it's easy to love a motherfucker that love you back. That's easy. Any fucking body can do that. But if you can love a motherfucker that hates you for the only fucking reason because of the color of your skin, then you're doing something. Then you are Christ-like. Because only Christ could do something like that. Love a person that hates you. Somebody nailed you to the fucking cross and you love them anyway, that's going above and beyond. So that's what she required me. That's what she did. That's what she preached. So that's going above. That's the requirement that was made of me from a kid. So I learned to love everybody. But when wrong shit happened, you better goddamn well believe that I'm going to call it out for fucking wrong. And this shit is wrong. Looting is fucking wrong. Burning shit down is fucking wrong. That ain't helping shit.
It must have been very difficult throughout your life to adhere to what your mom said, because you're somebody that was you fought for this country, you were in the military, and you also worked for the United States Postal Service for a long time. So you've worked for this country, and this country treats you like shit. So it must have been very difficult. Have you been able to love people back the way that your mom requested, or was that something that had to happen with a lot of maturity?
Most definitely it happened with a lot of maturity, and a lot of things that happened along the way. Because in the beginning, I'm telling you, that's why I asked my mama the question. I said, what about if they hate you? Because I had no problem. Like I said, it's easy. If another race or my race, they love me, that was my philosophy for many years. If you love me, I love you. I don't give a fuck what color you is. If you love me, I love you. And I thought I was doing pretty good. So I said, wait a minute. Mama said, no, you got to take it a step further. I said, wait a minute, Mom, already, if they love me, I love them. Ain't that enough? She said, no, son, that's not enough. If you want to be like Christ, then you got to love them motherfuckers that hate you too. I said, dang. Ooh, Mom, you asking a whole lot now. That's a whole lot. You want me to love people that hate me? Dang, I don't know, Mom. That's going to take, and that, Mark Bell, that took some doing. I had to die a few times before I got that shit straight. It took me dying a few times before I got that shit straight. So yeah, it came with age. It definitely came with age.
What's been some of your own experience with racism, being being in the military and being, former United States Postal Service?
Yeah, well, I was definitely in the military, and I went to basic training in Fort Jackson, South Carolina, and but I tell you what, the military don't give a fuck. A soldier is a fucking soldier. You're gonna run into some individuals, other soldiers that were prejudiced, obviously prejudiced, but my drill sergeant, that motherfucker kicked everybody's ass. He didn't give a fuck what color he was. He was an equal opportunity ass kicker. And, I appreciate it. I remember that. I remember that motherfucker and respect him to this day. Sergeant Thompson didn't give a fuck who you was, boot in the ass, you're going to get a boot in the ass. And I appreciate that. As long as he kicked everybody else's ass, I didn't give a fuck. But I was ready for the military before I got in the military because my dad was a Korean War vet. And, I was yes, sir, and no, sir, my whole fucking life. And I had to stand at attention and the whole deal. So when I got in the military, it was no problem to do all that shit.
What about trust? Your mom told you to love everybody. Does she give you any advice on trust? Because we see people that are, they're joining these peaceful protesters, and we assume that everyone's there for the same cause. But then you turn around and somebody's causing up a ruckus, and you're just like, wait, why are you doing that for? That's not our cause anymore. And they just want to destroy things. So how can we, unite ourselves if we can't really trust each other, because we think we got to kind of look over our shoulders to make sure that not everybody is just trying to, start looting or just want to destroy something just because.
You absolutely cannot trust every fucking body. Even in business, if you are any type of a businessman, Mark Smelly Bell, I know you know this, you cannot trust every fucking body. But if you've been around for a little while, it don't take long. You ain't got to be as old as me, as old as dirt, as Mark put it. You ain't got to be old as dirt to figure out who the fuck you can trust and who the fuck you can't trust and who's there for the right purpose and who's there not there, for obviously the cause mayhem and chaos and make people and put a black mark on a good thing. And we're trying to do good. We're trying to make a change. We want to change. We want to put an end to this bullshit. And then you got motherfuckers out there this out there for nothing near that purpose. All they want to do is disrupt and cause fucking problems for everybody, and make it look like, you know, that the whole thing is bad. They want that's their only mission, is try to look like make the whole thing look bad from a few assholes.
Yeah. You know, I'm curious, CT, because you've seen a lot of this over the years, not just this, but 90s, 80s, you've seen it all. And a buddy of mine, I'm only 27, a buddy of mine, we're talking about this recently, and we were saying, like, man, it's kind of sad, but it's almost like we've seen all these killings of black men like us look like on TV, and we're almost a little bit jaded to it, that when we hear it happen, we see it, we're like, they got another one. Do you, after seeing all of this continuously, year by year, does it affect you less than it used to, or does it hit just as hard as it did in the past?
That's a damn good question. And I want to ask you a question before I answer your question. Have you ever been pulled over for fitting the description?
Yeah.
And you're young. Let me tell you, I was pulled over, you know, for the first time for fitting the description when I was 14 years old. I had 6 cop cars pull up, 2 cops to a car, and they all got out with the guns drawn, pointed at my head. I'm 14. I had a pair of swimming trunks on, nothing else. I just got a pair of swimming trunks. I walked down the street from the pool, and all got my swimming trunks, and they jumped out the car and they put the gun. If I had been the nervous kind of person and just, you know, scared because I got all these guns on me, took off running, I wouldn't be here talking to you today. So I just want, but to answer your question, fuck yes. It upsets me just as much as it did in the 60s as it does right the fuck now in 2020. And in the 60s, I was in the Watts. We lived in Watts during the Watts riot. So that's where it started, you know, this kind of thing started from experience. My dad was a preacher. So we went to church. Tanks and shit on the side of the road, tanks armed, and the National Guard stopping us. Hey, where you going? My dad told me and my family is going to church. And I'm thinking to myself, motherfucker, I want to go home and look at cartoons. I can praise the Lord at home. These motherfuckers got guns and shit, and this motherfucker, we going to church. I thought my dad was a fucking idiot, man. but we went, you know what I mean? So I experienced, you know, that firsthand. I was a young kid, but I remember the tanks. I remember all the shit, the commotion that went on. I remember when they called James Brown in to calm people down. I remember all that shit. And it pissed me off then. It still pissed me off. Wrong is still just as fucking wrong in the 60s as it is 2020. Wrong is always going to be wrong. And it's just as fucking wrong. I'm just as pissed off. And so when Mark asked me to do the podcast, I said, look, Mark, I might not say exactly what the fuck you want me to say, but I'm damn sure going to tell the truth, because my integrity means more to me than any motherfucking thing. I stand on my motherfucking word. I've been doing that shit my whole life, and I'm going to die just like that. All those bad words I say, there's one word that CT Fuck you will never hear me say, and that is the N word. I will not say that. You know why? Because to me, it is 1,000 times worse than any other profanity I could use. And that is because how I grew up. Like I said, I was born in 1959. I remember colored on the waterfront. I remember colored entrances, and I remember how it felt as a little kid to be called the N-word. I remember when the N-word was not just a rap lyric. I remember the sting of that at 5 years old. So you won't hear me saying that. I don't care who else says it.
What do you feel when like a rap lyric? What like? I know you feel deep because I see your passion come out of you in everything you do. So like, what does that bring up in you, even when you hear it still amongst white people as a racist term or black people as almost an endearment term at this point?
Exactly. It is. It's to the younger crowd, but black people born 50s, 40s. I guarantee it's not a term of endearment.
Right.
And when I will never see it as a term of endearment or cool, because I remember very vividly incidents happening as a child. I just, I wanted to know, I was younger than this baby right now, I was probably 5 or 6 years old, and I wanted to know the price of a toy. And I picked up the toy, and I said, excuse me, sir, can you tell me how much this is? And he said, nigga, if you don't have the money to pay for it, just leave. I'm 58, so that was 52 years ago. I remember that. So, thank you, dude. Thank you. I still remember that. So for me, it'll never be just a term of endearment or acceptable. And you will never hear, I said just to tell you, to emphasize how it made me feel. I said, it will never be casual for me.
Yeah.
It will always hit home with me.
Yeah.
So you want, out of all the cussing and bad language you hear, and I say everything.
Right.
But I won't say that.
Yeah.
I won't say that.
I think it's always like, listen, I almost have to try to remove myself out from some of the white population because I grew up in the running back room. I was always the only white boy.
I know the running back.
My thinking, even though I grew up in a white home and in a white city for the most part, in a privileged city, my dad would take me across the track, so to speak, to play basketball to toughen me up when I was little. So I was playing with a bunch of black grown men from the time I was 7, 8 years old, because Dad, that's what he wanted my mentality to be. I was in the garage with the grown men working out, not with my kids, because he knew that would make me tough. You know, in the running back room, as soon as you get competitive, you're always the only white dude. And so I've always heard that word, and I've never given it a lot of thought amongst my brothers, you know, my teammates, but from a normal white man, they don't understand the balance, how a black man to a black man can say it with not just a breath, just like whatever, but then yet it's, if the word is so damaging, you know, how it's used and accepted, you know what I mean? It's just another one of those things, like in a white culture, that it's, you just don't understand it, you know?
Let me break it down for you, Heath. Let me explain it to you right now why they think it's absolutely okay. Okay, how many brothers and sisters do you have?
You got one sister.
Right, one
there.
sister.
There she
okay.
is.
This sister right here, you and her can fight. Get into it. I know if you never, I know that you and her have had knockdown, drag out fights before, because you're brother and sister, and that's what brother and sisters do.
Verbally,
yes.
My dad would break my hand if I ran.
Not physically.
Absolutely.
But she can call you anything under the sun.
Right.
And you can call her anything under the sun.
Right.
But
don't let anyone else do it.
That's my sister.
Right.
And I love her.
Right.
She loves you. You love her because you're a family. That's my sister. Black people consider themselves a family. So it's the brothers, that's my brother, because we share this. So that's my brother. So I can call my brother anything.
Right.
And he knows I can call him because I love him. He know I ain't calling him because I'm prejudiced, because I hate him. I'm not calling that. He's my brother and I love him. He knows that underneath everything I call him, he's still my brother and I love him. Just like you and your sister, she knows, you know, that underneath everything y'all arguing and yelling about, that's still my sister.
Yeah.
I can, but nobody else better not do that shit. It's the same thing.
So that family culture is just different.
It's family. So it's okay amongst family. But you let somebody outside the family do the same. You can call your sister all kind of names. Right. But you let somebody else call your sister that same name that you just called.
Someone's going to jail.
That's my sister. If you crazy, that's my sister. So that's it. That's the explanation. They look at each other as family. Yeah. So amongst family, you can do things because you know that underneath all them names and stuff you call your sister, you love her.
Yeah. No,
so that's the difference.
I got it. Let's bless this food. We'll go eat, and then we'll just be family and keep chit chatting. So
yes,
I'll pray. Jesus, man.